Star Wars Legends The Empire Omnibus Volume 1 is now available. Actually, it came out back in May, and I'm just really late making this. But it's still available. In case you haven't been following along with the channel, in the past I've reviewed the Old Republic and Rise of the Sith omnibuses, which cover John Jackson Miller's Knights of the Old Republic run and the comics leading up to Episode 1 The Phantom Menace respectively. The Empire Omnibus shares a lot in common with these first two big hardcover collections, namely the massive size. This book covers the stories that take place following the end of Revenge of the Sith and the beginning of the Galactic Empire. Many of these stories are focused on the main man himself, Darth Vader, hunting down the remnants of the Jedi and spreading terror across the galaxy. And if you think all that sounds good, then this is the book for you. But before we get into all that, let's look at the cover. I wasn't kidding about the Darth Vader focus. He is front and center, leading an army of clone troopers. For a Star Wars book called The Empire, it's a very appropriate image to represent it. Also, Darth Vader is on the book's spine, and he takes up a good portion of the back cover as well. And kind of like the Rise of the Sith omnibus, there's a little banner that shows the stories that this book contains. This is a collection of comics by many authors, unlike the Old Republic omnibus, which just had John Jackson Miller. After taking off the dust jacket, surprise, it's another picture of Darth Vader. Though the art is really nice, the glow of his red lightsaber really adds to his menacing look. Anyway, opening it up to the table of contents, and you can see that there's a lot of stories collected here. I won't go into too much details for each one, but you can see it's divided into a couple of big sections. First off, it's the last few issues of Star Wars Republic. Then it's Star Wars Purge. Then Darth Vader and Lost Command. A whole lot of Dark Times. That series takes a good majority of the book. And then Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison to cap it off. In Republic 78, Vader introduces himself to the Imperial officers, and he certainly leaves an impression. The Empire is going to be run very differently than the Old Republic. Vader takes an interest in officers who may cause problems for the new regime, like Seguro Atem, forcing him to go on the run. Republic issues 79 and 80 set up the Dark Times comic run, and introduce characters that would be important later on in the series, like Kai Hedora and Das Jenner. Star Wars Purge is a collection of various one-shot comics, which feature Darth Vader tracking down and hunting Jedi survivors, usually to the annoyance of Palpatine, who is growing more impatient with Vader's Jedi obsession. Darth Vader in The Last Command involves Vader looking for Moff Tarkin's son, who has gone missing, intercut with visions of a future of what could have been if Anakin hadn't fallen to the dark side. Then the main middle portion of the book is the Dark Times run, which comprises of two big plot lines. First is Jedi survivor Das Jenner joining the smuggler crew of the Yuhomele, and second is Jedi Master Kakruk trying to survive the Jedi Purge while taking care of a group of younglings. Of all the comics in the Empire Omnibus, Dark Times is my personal favorite. Also, I'm a huge fan of Doug Wheatley's art. The final story in this collection is Darth Vader in the Ghost Prison. Vader is forced to recruit convicts from a secret Jedi prison in order to prevent an internal uprising against Palpatine. And to close out the book, where the Old Republic Omnibus had the Knights of the Old Republic Handbook, and the Rise of the Sith Omnibus had a few miscellaneous non-canon tale stories, the Empire Omnibus has a handful of variant covers and concept sketches. And that's about it. Like I've mentioned in my other omnibus reviews, I'm a really big fan of this format. I really like how the page sizes are much bigger than the trade paperbacks and the Dark Horse omnibuses. The main sticking point for these books is the market price. In my opinion, $125 is way too much to spend on these comic collections. And if you buy this from a bookstore, that's probably what you're going to be paying. Luckily, on websites like Amazon, these books get marked down to around $75, which is still quite a bit, but much better than $125. If you can help it, and you like what you see here, do not spend full price on these hardcover omnibuses. Sadly, it is only 992 pages, the shortest of the three, and it gets me to think of the missed opportunities and what they could have included in here. I think it should have opened up with the Revenge of the Sith comic adaptation, since that's really where the Empire was truly born. They also could have put in the post-Episode 3 stories from the Clone Wars Adventures comic. And they could have added the Evasive Action webcomic. These are comics that haven't been included in an omnibus format before, so it would have been perfect to put them in here. There's also the rest of Dark Times, and the other 2 Darth Vader miniseries like The Ninth Assassin and Cry of Shadows. But all of that is going to be in the Empire Omnibus Volume 2, which comes out next year. Even with all those criticisms, I still think Volume 1 is a pretty solid collection overall. If you are a huge Vader fan, and you don't already have these comics, then this is the perfect book for you. What are all your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below.